Inadequate would be the term I would use when I felt the Lord call me to plant. It was 2014, and I was a pastor of a rural church, and we took our small group to a worship concert in Columbus, and in the middle of it, just really enjoying worship with people that I was really close to. And in the middle of this concert, I remember just feeling a weight, like I probably haven't felt very many times in my life. And it was almost crushing to really describe it. And the weight was, really felt with clarity that the Lord was telling me I was called to plant a church. And honestly, I looked at church planting at that time as crazy. I looked at it as something that someone else did, and I just felt God calling me to step forward in a way of faith. I remember talking to Lindsay, my wife, about it, and just telling her how I didn't think that I was able to do it, for one thing, and didn't think that I would be able to do it or could do it, rather. And I remember Lindsay and I just praying and asking God that if this is His will, that we would be faithful. In 2014, when Lindsay and I felt called to plant, we felt with clarity to plant here in Gallipolis, which is a real small rural town on the edge of the Ohio River. Churches on every corner. You wouldn't think that this would be a place that needed church. In fact, I argued with myself, this is not where I should go to. A big city needed a church plant, but I saw that the Lord was calling me, and it's the only place that I landed with peace. And church, small towns need help. They need a boost. They need a work that's a little bit fresh and maybe a different perspective. There's churches in this town that I'll never reach the people that they reach. An illustration I've used for years is God creates churches like boats. Different kinds of boats are for different types of fishing. And what I've seen in Gallipolis is the Lord has opened up a different work for us here that was not being ministered to or reached to. And so we have lots of people that had a lot of church hurt or a lot of baggage, a lot of marital issues that the Lord is bringing into our church, even the homeless that the Lord is ministering to. And it's been amazing to see that even in a small town, God can use you in big ways. The scripture that was embedded in my heart for those years as I was going through training and then early periods of core group was John 15:16. You did not choose me, but I chose you and appointed you that you should go and bear much fruit, and that fruit should remain. I remember just praying that to the Lord. Lord, I didn't choose this, and you chose this for me, and I'm going to trust you, and I'm going to just lean in and see what you have. Well, we just gave ourselves over to prayer, and next thing you know, the core group's growing, and we finally get to the size to launch the church, and we can't find anywhere to launch the church. And at the time, a guy in our church, whose name is Jamie, we looked everywhere for a building. Like we couldn't find any. We looked everywhere. We just searched and searched, and finally we landed in the middle of town, which really has turned out to be such a blessing. In the middle of town was this old bank that we ended up remodeling. In the beautiful part that we didn't realize that we were just wanted a place to meet, but it turned out that it would be our identity. As we looked for a building, this is really where God kept on bringing us back to, and it seemed like God was really putting us at the center. This is almost like all roads lead to Gallipolis, like all roads lead to Rome. Yeah. And at the epicenter of culture, God puts His people. And that's why I thought about here, at the epicenter of our county. I mean, there's 3 or 4 counties around that this still is kind of like the center point, in my view, where a lot of people come. Being downtown really gives us the opportunity to be purpose-driven and missional. And we just try to make every use, we look at it as a tool, as an opportunity to be missional with the gospel. So one of our pillars is unafraid witness, and it's a great opportunity to step outside the front of the building and, okay, Lord, where are we going? We're standing across the river at Point Pleasant, West Virginia, and just kind of overlooking Gallipolis. And I would come here and pray daily just to, call on God. And this place right here is at the bedrock of my planting story. And prayer is just the most essential thing that really is what God worked through so many times. So in those early days, I was in this spot right here, just calling on the Lord, calling on the name of the Lord, and just to ask Him to do what only He could do.